Welcome back, everyone, to another Stock Market Open Live. Well, there is a lot of a fight going on between two stocks here. We've got GWAV, Green Wave Tech. You've got about a 37% move here in the pre-market, taking it from about 14.81 cents up to about 20.33. And then there are a lot of folks who are are part of the OG sort of FFIE clan who are of the mindset of no. Don't split your money up. Hold the line. GG or FFIE is the only momentum stock for you. This is sort of very common. Either way, this one's up 67%. And there's some quite remarkable volatility in both of these penny stocks. And some remarkable movements here. I mean, we quite frankly had nearly 20x here now in FFIE. GWAV is really potentially just getting started at a little more than a 2x. Well, then again, it was a 2x yesterday and then potentially a 2x today based on that original valuation. So really interesting seeing these movements here in these two particular stocks, FFIE and GWAV, as well as let's look here and compare to sort of our traditional competing momentum names. Those are going to be GameStop, which is down 20%. Look at this, folks. I mean, these are the pre-market lines here. Well, this is the yesterday line. See, as soon as we fell below 30.57 here, which we mentioned yesterday morning was in play, as soon as we fell below this line, we ended up slipping under it, broke under the line, got rejected by it with a failed breakout over here, and sure enough, boom, we drop. This is also as GameStop announced its first quarter preliminary results, which were enough to take the stock down another level, down to 22.69. We jump on over to AMC. AMC not faring as poorly as GME this morning. This one down at the moment, 388. This comes at the same time as Trade Desk is up 184 in the pre-market. That's some form of enthusiasm or momentum or excitement or whatever you want to call it is going on over there in the pre-market, or sort of at the stock, I should rather say, since we might be knocking on the door of all-time highs here pretty soon. All-time highs on Trade Desk. Oops, didn't want to do that. Oh well, it doesn't matter. There we go. All-time highs were was $114 back in November of 2021. Quite remarkable. Really shows you how much that really stretched there. So let's see what else we got moving. Rent the Runway 19%. Reddit up 10% to 62 in pre-market. You've got Dave & Buster's up 3.2, Supermicro Computer up 2.14. I flip this around here. I've got costs down 7.8, SunPower down 5, although yesterday it was up 5. And Tesla over here with Etsy down about 40 basis points to about 0.5%, and Enphase barely a negative. You've got Apple coming in at about, where are we now with Apple? We're almost at 190 with Apple. Really nice recovery. And the Q's positive as well by about 18 basis points going into the morning. So it does feel like we're kind of catalyst-less. That's a mouthful. But it's the way it feels. Ooh. Excuse me. Oh, yeah, get that coffee brewing. Oh, wait, I already brewed it. I just need to actually drink it. It's right here. 10-year Treasury yield up to 4.4, so a little bit higher. Oil, Brent, International, basically sitting at 83.50. You've got gold sitting at almost $2,400. think actually, are we now, no. We were at 24.13 as the previous all-time high. It looks like we're trying to go push for another breakout there on some of these commodities, making copper a little more attractive as well for potential gain in copper pricing, which has led to some theft of supercharging cables in Northern California, which is crazy. Obviously, copper inside of those, but still crazy. We'll just go slice them off. Anyway, you've got another 600 employees being laid off at Fremont and Palo Alto in both the manufacturing and engineering offices from Tesla. Uh-oh. More layoffs. More cost cuts. How much... I think, sort of the Elon question. How much should we cut today? And then the response, yes. Yikes. It's painful. I know it's a joke, but when sort of messing with people's lives, people get upset and sad, as they should. Okay, so then let's see what we got here. So there we go. Let's see what the Doomers have for us this morning. I can get a little bit of a look into the good old world of the Doomburgers. All right, let's listen in.
And just finally, if I don't do this one, I won't hear the end of it for the rest of the weekend. Anne-Marie, thank you. Appreciate it.
Let's get you to the weekend.
Thank you to you as well from New York City. Enjoy your weekend. This was Bloomberg Surveillance.
Got that. Got to go straight to an ad. No problem. What about seeing Besizzle? You got that 6 o'clock transition coming up. Oh, yep, well, them as well. All right, so Tesla, 600 more layoffs, and we're gonna write that down quickly. That was predominantly this time in engineering and manufacturing in Fremont and Palo Alto, CA. Oops. All right. Next, we have, the Qs just wants to kind of keep cooking a little bit this morning. You can see the Qs are sitting up about 20 basis points, and it's really just been a solid trend up. You did have this weird little gap there, but otherwise it's been a solid trend up. What about 8:55 Eastern? Been a solid trend up for about 3 hours here, frankly. So anyway, Faraday futures up at 67 and up at 41% for GWAV. Keep in mind, there's a lot of risk with small stocks like this, penny stocks especially. I generally don't look at penny stocks myself. It's just, I think what you found is that they've snuck their way into sort of the momentum world. And now you're seeing these companies that are, 5 to 10 cent stocks really move. So somebody else mentioned, what is this here? Justin just donated $20. Thanks for getting me on FFIE, Kev. Hey, you got it. Congrats. Here's another one. CKRN up 400% yesterday. Oh, wow. Last year I made 300K on attendees on DWAC because of you. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, congratulations. That's really cool. So let's see if we got another one here. RKN. Let's go ahead and pull up the... Let's see what we have on all of these. Okay, yeah, so what is this? Crown Electric? Oh, yeah, wow, look at that. 400% yesterday. Up another 62 today. So there's another one for you. All of these you could buy for as little as a quarter. Okay. So let's listen in here for a moment. What are they yapping about?
Forecast for the bookings in the coming fiscal year. Also adding, it doesn't expect to release its highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 video game until the fall of next year. And we'll cap it off with the jump in Robinhood shares. Fintech company getting double upgraded to buy from an underperform at B of A. Target goes to 24 from 14. So keep an eye on those shares. For more on that story, just head over to cnbc.com/pro. More detail and analysis there for subscribers, guys. I will send.
It's up about 5% on the day. Yesterday it was down 3.35%. Watch this line that's constantly in line on Robinhood. See on the day how we're bobbing around over here at about 1870. Look at this. Bleed, 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 bleed. End the day basically right at my 1794 line. Hold it, upgrade, weird spike basically down to the line. And so watch that one. I don't know what it is, but that's 1794 lines is like a random line that people like to pay attention to. So watch it. So, kidoki then. Now, CRKN, while it may be moving off momentum, it doesn't appear to be moving off short interest, which is okay. It doesn't have to be moving off short interest. It looks like it's about 4% short. Trying to get the others to load here, but that darn app. Yeah, I know they call it the black app, but when it freezes, it turns totally black and shuts down. Okay, let's try. How's FFIE at this point with that short squeeze? Oh, it's still indicated at like 98% short, which is crazy. Yeah, we'll see if there's any update to that one today. And then GWAV, that one is, yeah, not really a short play either. So really, GWAV and the CRKN are more just pure momentum. And then FFIE does have some of that short narrative to it as well. Okay, very well. Bitcoin back to 66.3. Tesla up 36 bip. Sorry, not Tesla. That's Nvidia. Right. Nvidia is up 36 bips. Tesla's down 47 bips. It's basically right there at that 174 line again. Womp, womp, womp. It's been a little rough. When a crash occurs, what stocks are you focusing on? I see the comment here. Well, I mean, I think it should be obvious based on just the stocks that I'm interested in. But I mean, I think, you know, we had a sell down in April, right? We had a little bit of a little mini correction. I thought it'd be deeper than what we had. It wasn't. And it certainly wasn't really led by unemployment issues. You know, labor market's really holding up, so. All right. Here's another one. With momentum in its favor, gold has the potential to head higher. Gold looks well poised to build on this year's gains, with speculative momentum seeming to entice marginal buying and penetrating a virtuous cycle. Ooh, virtuous. What's so virtuous about price go up? Well, I guess price go up makes everybody happy. I don't know, it was virtuous. Market's inflation forecast has been pretty lousy. Yeah, just basically stagnating a little higher at about 2.5%. Partly as we see that with the 5-year break-evens. Let me pull the break-evens here. We are on the break-evens at 3.31 on the 5-year break-even. If I go 5-year forward, well, then I'm going to be looking at 2.27. Yeah, so all about 2.3 there. Okay, Jimbo. What about you? What do you got? Chevron? What are you yapping about?
Blow the company up on buying Anadarko and then hope to have Warren Buffett come in and save me. These guys are meaningful. And you can say that Jamie Dimon was the principal beneficiary of Fed rate cuts, and then, but also principal beneficiary of rate hikes. No, Jamie Dimon's a good banker. So I'm not talking about the great man theory, but I am saying that there are people who do more. I mean, look at the hand that Bob Iger got. That's a bad hand, but it was an Iger hand. Oh yeah, there was a stop. There was a guy in there.
Yes.
He made a pit stop. He made a pit stop in there. Now, you know, my Nana Mary said, if you don't have anything to say about, you know, it's nice, just don't say it.
Yes.
Nana Mary was never
But
wrong. Lived in 94. Didn't know in the end exactly all that much.
You're talking about corporate dynamism is what you're talking about.
Yes.
So is that enough to fuel a further rally? And did Walmart yesterday answer some concerns about the lower end consumer?
Doug hit it out of the park.
His best earnings reaction in almost 6 years.
Well, Doug McMillon, first of all, he had deflation in many, many aisles, okay? Second, he had some particular foodstuff deflation that mattered. He understands the zeitgeist of the consumer better than any major mass merchandiser, other than the entire top echelon at Costco. And I thought Doug did great. I mean, by the way, Doug is not only, he's so non-promotional, I had to try to tell him that his fashion is great. I had to. I said, listen, tell your fashion is great. Hey, the stores look fabulous. That's him giving the managers a lot of say. But I was blown away by how page after page of a recognition that the consumer's strapped and we're going to do something about it. And it was really a poignant piece of Americana in that quarter.
It's interesting because B of A last night, looking for signs of the low end cracking, the consumer, not yet, they argue. If you look at wages versus pricing at the low end, it still outpaces higher income consumers and has for years. And that's ex-grocery and gas.
Yes, and I think that was really important because you don't, look, the preconception is that everyone's on a credit card. No. People aren't doing as well. I mean, maybe they've spent the so-called capital they built up during COVID. But I think that it's not the stuff that's found at Walmart that's a problem. It's service, means that, and you go, that's between the lines in the Home Depot call, which is also a very important call for the zeitgeist. Between the lines there was the labor's too important. It's not the actual goods. And Home Depot can't do much about the labor. Immigration can, but we don't know.
Quick note on the GameStop move. It's also worth noting that the company is expected to sell 45 million shares, or up to 45 million shares. This is very common. This is I'm honestly surprised it took them basically 4 business days to get that together. It's not that hard. Like, yo, we need this filing done today. Like AMC, they already had the shelf offering open, right? So AMC had the shelf offering open, and they went for a sale Monday, which may have been a little early, but they ended up going for a sale on Monday, raising about $250 million. GameStop took until Thursday evening, basically, to get you an announcement here on a 45 million share sale. So very, very common. You would sort of expect that in this environment. So it looks like Crown Electric, Faraday Futures, and Greenwave Technologies. All of these are up between 49 to 78% here right now. Good, solid movement in these momentum movers. A lot of folks saying, hey, what do you think's going to happen over the weekend? I mean, nobody knows, but usually what happens is what you find, people who are reading news about the stock market, they'll start hearing about these momentum names, and that creates FOMO. And that's usually why these pump in the pre-market, because there's a FOMO point. I don't think the weekend kills momentum. I never noticed that being a catalyst in the last momentum cycle back in Jan of 2021. Well, at least I specifically don't recall there being a weekend catalyst as possible. I may have forgotten, but I think, what you saw with GME and AMC is telling enough. It's really just when you run out of buyers, the momentum fades. It just came with GME a lot quicker than I think a lot of folks were expecting. You really had Monday, Tuesday was party, and then you were basically down every following day. So a little unfortunate on GME. It doesn't necessarily mean that the GME momentum movement is over, but there are also a lot of people speculating that Keith Gill isn't actually Keith Gill because he hasn't made a YouTube video, hasn't posted on his Reddit, hasn't been seen in person. People think somebody took over his X account, and who knows? Maybe they bought it, and they're sort of publishing Keith Gill-esque memes. Who knows? I don't necessarily believe in that, but it is interesting. All right, what do we got here? China's real estate Oh yeah, they're gonna start buying some of the stuff on the market.
Reasonable prices. They're also being urged to get more heavily involved with finishing stalled projects, or at least creating the conditions so those projects would be completed, and buying back land from developers in order to try to ease their financial burden. Now, as for the potential buyers, the national mortgage rate floor will be removed from tomorrow, and down payment ratios will also be cut. State media has been describing these steps as historic, and the stock investors really did like these policy announcements. Capital Economics, which is a research house, said that this could be potentially significant. It sees that new home sales could be up 10% in the first year, but if the funding is sufficient. And that is a big if, guys, based on the size of the problem and also the current state of the finances at a lot of these local governments.
Okay, Eunice, Jim, 42 billion, that's great. People who are in the know, people who know far more than I do, have said it could be a $6 trillion problem that they have. Yeah. Trillion with a T. This does not seem to be addressing what people who are in the know are saying.
Yeah, but we see that Beijing has been kind of reluctant to do a whole lot. It's taken a lot for Beijing to get to a point where they're allowing state firms as well as local governments to have some type of intervention. The big problem is that the signal is that they don't want to pay for something too big because they already have issues with debt, and also the potential destabilizing impact any kind of major moves can make. And as you well know, the authorities here are very wary of anything that could create social instability.
Meantime, Eunice, the data we got last night, industrial production with the beat, but retail sales with a miss, a bit of a mixed picture there, right?
Yeah. It was a mixed picture, but, it really reflects what we've been seeing all along, that the government is kind of pushing the whole export and factory component of the economy, but the consumption really wasn't really there. So what we were seeing was a miss on the consumption, as well as the investment, the infrastructure spending not doing so well. But then the exports were doing, or the industrial production was up. So again, a lot of imbalances in this economy.
Eunice, when President Hoover was confronted with a similar situation, he created a Reconstruction Finance Corporation. He spent some money, but was reluctant to do Keynesian economics, and it sunk us into the Great Depression. What is the resistance to Keynesian economics? I mean, here's a man, he's like president.
Keep in mind, that's basically print money.
You could argue if Reagan were around, it's axis of evil or something. Like, and I don't care. He can do whatever he wants. So why is he Hoover instead of Roosevelt?
I mean, I think it again goes back to this whole concern about social stability. He doesn't necessarily want to do something that's so massive. They don't really want to pay for it. At least that's the signaling that's there. And there's big question mark because this problem is so big. Exactly what would happen if they made any dramatic moves? And again, even with this scheme, there aren't a whole lot of details, but people are wondering. So who's going to be made whole? You might have the financing, but is it going to be the developers, or will it be the potential buyers who put down large deposits and could lose everything and are already protesting in some areas or have protested? Or will it be some of these workers that we've seen who are protesting because they're angry that they haven't gotten their money back, or the suppliers? So there's a lot of questions about what the government is able to actually do.
Wow.
Eunice, between that and your robo-taxi reporting this week, your plate has been so full. Appreciate it as always.
As the guards here when we leave say, stay safe.
Eunice Yoon joining us from.
While this is going here, I found this piece which is interesting. It's somewhat related, just geopolitical risks versus reality, and what they try to do here is they try to paint a picture of, hey, here's what's actually a risk versus perception. So call it perception versus reality. And I always like pieces like that. You don't find them too often, mostly just because it's much easier to just sort of fearmonger on the international community. And really, they start with this idea of like, hey, you know, North Korea has been the bad actor and the saber rattler with nukes forever, but they can't even figure out that they know how to use nukes. So what maybe is more impactful? So they mention here, long periods of stability with periodic binary events are difficult to manage risks around. If we knew the day China was going to invade Taiwan, how useful would it be? If the date was in the next few weeks, it would be great for everyone. Companies could quickly reduce their exposure to the region, shipping could be diverted, excess inventory could be built up, and investors could easily position their portfolio for such an invasion. On the other hand, if we knew it was going to occur a year from now, would that help? Corporate clients would have plenty of time to position their businesses accordingly. It takes time to change dependencies. Presumably, some efforts could be made to change the future as well, creating some doubt about the certainty of the attack. But knowing that the event is coming likely does little to change your current portfolio. It's a good point of view. It's sort of like, all right, let's say it's definitely going to happen. Like, what are you going to do about it? Binary events are not binary. It's a way of saying like there's either an attack or there's not. But for them, they see it as when is something viewed as a big deal, or how much of it is viewed as a big deal. And the October 7th attack against Israel was obviously pretty, in their mind, binary. It's like, yes, we are now once again at a very clear breaking point versus not. Let's see here. But keep in mind, even after that Israel-Gaza attack, you know, our indices are at all-time highs, they mentioned. And really, it didn't seem like we got too terribly much of a market movement after Israel. So I think that's kind of a good point. And so really what they're trying to do here is they're trying to say, hey, you know, everybody gets so fearful about these geopolitical issues, but how much do they actually really affect us? Like, even if we knew they were going to happen, how much do we really need to sort of hedge the portfolio? And so they wrote this chart out here, actual risk versus perceived risk. So if the actual risk goes high, then you've got some more risk than if just the perceived risk is high, but the actual risk is low. And so a high perceived risk and a high actual risk, like where you have, it's just legitimately bad, would be some form of cyber warfare. And more in the neutral area for the market, you actually have Russia and the Middle East here, even though the actual risks are higher, along with the actual risk being higher here on the trade war. But market's really treating all of these here together as relatively steady. Well, that's fascinating. Interesting point of view. Okay. So, yeah, I'm not going to really explain each of these in particular. I think it's pretty obvious what those various different things are. Of course, you could also have some wild card that pops up. Oh, kind of neat. So, okay, what else we have here on the loser side? 20.7 on GameStop, cost is 6.3. Tesla sitting at 33 to the downside. Lucid 66 basis points to the downside. AMC is down about 3.5 as well. What's Jimbo yapping on?
This thing is very, very popular.
Take two again?
I am all in Strauss. I think he's doing a lot.
So you'd rather wait and have it done right. Is that your point?
Yeah, I just think it has to be. Look, Rockstar, the people who actually make it, they're perfectionists. But the reason why that game holds up under all the different years and iterations is because they are just so clever. And I think that Strauss, look, Strauss is from the movie-making business. He understands you can't rush great productions. And I think that in the end, when I look at Take-Two and what he's done, it's still, the analysts are putting up $1.6 billion back. I say, wait a second. It's the push-out that I expected from the point of view of Strauss gave you enough leeway that I didn't think it was that big a disappointment. I'm all in Strauss. He's done a lot of good stuff.
As for GME, we got the mixed shelf file.
Wow.
We got the preliminary number below consensus. Going to open below 22. Right. Jim?
Yeah, look, I mean, they're going to offer stock. They'll do it at the money, so they're not going to club the stock. I wish the day before, but I think they had to put out the horrible preliminary results before they do this. And when the thing, there's a lot of things wrong with GameStop that we never talk about. We talk about the kitty litter, whatever it is, fresh step that this guy's making at $30 this morning. He's clearly an ill-advised. I didn't call him a joker. I don't do that stuff anymore. But there is a real problem. It's an existential problem. For instance, the NCAA, the new games coming out, it was delayed, because of the NILs. And I follow this stuff pretty closely because everybody...
Here's Kramer talking fundamentals on momentum movements. I don't know.
Immediately. All right? If you go to GameStop, it's 1 to 3 days. And it's same price. So what is the advantage of GameStop? Well, you might want the disc because you might want to go to a friend's place, have a sleepover. He doesn't have it. Sure. So maybe it's okay to have a 3-day wait. Otherwise, why not just download it for the same price? Right. And that's the existential crisis. That's why what's great about GameStop is they could close it.
They could close...
What? They could close it. And then we wouldn't have to mess with it anymore. Because it's irrelevant, Carl. It is irrelevant.
So whatever,
I matched it against Best Buy. And every single price, Assassin's Creed. There's 72 different Assassin's Creed. They're all the same price. But if I go to Best Buy, I can also get the refreshed PC with the AI assistant.
So is this all about extending and pretending then? Whatever hay they're able to make?
That's good.
Well, I'm not saying.
Well,
I'm
Brian Cohen, maybe he's using the Bed Bath & Beyond model. I missed my Bed Bath & Beyond model. It's a pickleball court. Wait a second. That's a better use for it.
Okay. Bed Bath & Beyond is a pickleball court now. All right, let's take a look at this. I think this is an interesting piece here from Deutsche Bank. It is a piece that's called Cruel Summer, which is obviously a shout-out to Taylor Swift. Imagine her getting a shout-out in finance pieces. Actually, it happens more than you think. I think just the other day after she came out with the what was it called, the Dead Poet album, you had people writing or Tortured Poet, something like that. People were writing about the Tortured Interest Rate Society, which obviously doesn't flow off the tongue as well, but it is very interesting. All right, so it looks like they've broken this down into into basically Fed speaker here. So we've got a summary here. Williams, rate cuts will happen eventually. I mean, duh. Higher government debt means somewhat higher global rates. Seeing signs of households more careful with spending. Yep. And GDP to 2.5% in 2024. Pretty much what we've seen so far. Actually, let's grab the Atlanta Fed. Atlanta Fed. Oh, Atlanta Fed right now. Okay. Back to reality. Back to 3.6%. It was over 4% there for a while on the Atlanta Fed GDP Now estimate. I'm like, y'all smoking something funny. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying. Those numbers were a little, whew. Jefferson is concerned that the decline of inflation has attenuated. In English, yo, why ain't inflation going down anymore? Bowman, no cuts this year. Probably a number of meetings before that. Need a number of months of better inflation data. Still see several upside inflation risks, including loosening financial conditions. There it is. We've been talking about that one actually starting in February. Somewhere in February, certainly by March, we were talking about it. But we were observing these financial conditions. They're just getting looser and looser and looser. Part of that is yields going down, stock market going higher. And, you know, that is inflationary. So, you know, something to pay attention to. Willing to hike if inflation stalls. Lower inflation in late 2023 was temporary. No, don't say it was transitory. It's basically what they said. Oh, my God. Disinflation is transitory. Could you imagine the Fed comes out with that? All right, everybody, disinflation is transitory. Oh, we can't use these words anymore. Bark in, full impact of high rates yet to come. Take a while to cool services inflation. Yeah, that's the one that kind of keeps going. That super core there. Need to cool demand to tame prices. In other words, higher for longer. All right, Kashkari. Rates likely steady for an extended period, maybe the whole year. Need multiple positive inflation readings to cut. Yeah, that's a problem. There's a high bar to really cutting here. I mean, I think you almost need like 6 months of good data to actually cut. It's crazy. Rates higher forever. Yeah, no kidding. I see your comments here. You think it's possible assets will keep crashing markets upwards, eventually forcing the Fed's hand? I don't know that it matters so much what the obviously do affect financial conditions, but it's I don't think the you know, as it slowly trends up, I don't know how much the Fed really cares. I think they're much more worried about labor and inflation than the market's sort of slowly kind of hitting new highs. All right, first coffee's almost done. You know, this by the way, is a GME mug here. It's from GameStop. We got our Pokemon on. Gotta support the GME. And then when I'm done with the first cup of coffee, look what I have today. Right here. Second cup of coffee. Max bought me this cup. Cute little guy. Now, those are obviously both coffee cups, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're both just coffee, if you know what I mean. All right, anyway, questions, policy, restrictiveness. In the wait-and-see mode, raise the neutral rate. Higher for longer. Bar for a hike is quite high. That's good. And too soon to declare inflation progress has stalled. Some bullishness there. Risk to dual goals or balance. Inflation's going to be a bumpy ride. That's from Mary Daly. Need to ensure the bump is not a sign of a reacceleration. Not much of a sign that inflation has stalled. Lori Logan, too early to think about rate cuts. Strong economy could mean higher neutral. Yeah. Bostic only sees 25 basis points of cuts this year. That's actually remarkable. You don't actually have that much enthusiasm about those 3 rate cuts anymore. And it looks like you have Powell speaking at a commencement speech on the 19th. That's Sunday. I ain't watching that. That sounds boring. Oh well. Some breakdown. These are just disclosures and some charts here. Bloody. You got the trim mean inflation report. Financial conditions have been easing. Yep. Been talking about that. Oh, well. All right. We're getting close to the good old opening bell. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, friends, the real question becomes, who wants to be a millionaire? Oh, we'll go ahead and get that ready. I want to ring the bell at market open one day. We did market close. Now you got to get the morning. So you got to get the nicey on the morning, and the evening. All right. So here we go. We are getting there. So Microsoft will add to the latest installment of Call of Duty to its will add the latest installment of Call of Duty to its Game Pass subscription service at launch this fall. Wow. So you're really going to move all these games to a subscription model. I mean, it kind of makes sense. There's so many versions and iterations of Call of Duty. You know what you really need is a new World of Warcraft, but they have to change it up a little bit to where it gets people back. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me right back. Who remembers who said that? Anyway. So I was bummed that they canceled BlizzCon. I mean, not that And I haven't logged into that game in forever, but that's still a little. I always liked paying attention to what they were doing over there. Just a little surprised they killed BlizzCon, because that's usually where they announce the next ones. Oh well, anyway, we got the bell to hit. I forgot my millionaire music.
They can't make the numbers for 2 quarters. I think she's real.
Let's get the opening bell and the CNBC real-time exchange of the big board. It's the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, celebrating the league's 28th season. By the way, happy birthday to the NYSE. 1792 today. The button would agree.
Wow.
Yes.
1792 for the NYSE. That's crazy.
Hot pot restaurant chain celebrating an IPO today.
Dear President Xi, listen to us. Listen to us. We are on your team when it comes to finance. By the way, Dave Tepper's by of Alibaba the other day. Joe Tsai, I had good fortune meeting. His wife was honored in a terrific thing I went to last week. That company is very inexpensive. And I know that when you speak to Dave, he would tell you.
Yeah. All right, let's listen in. Let's take a peek at GME here this morning. Looks like you're trying to get back to the line on GME. Can GME hodl the line? Trying to get under 20% down. Tesla down 1% after news of those layoffs. Down 1% a doozle on Tesla. Robin the Hood drops after that B of A upgrade. I want to see where they end up settling out today. Robin the Hood, along with Monday.com. Monday.com drops just about 1% after some real enthusiasm there on the after the earnings for Monday.com. Costs dropping about 10%, so getting a red candle there as well. Looks like you got a bit of a momentum bleed there. You got AMC bleeding a bit. Coinbase, I'm actually very surprised that you have so much pain over at Coinbase. Coinbase was knocking on the door of 218 to 224 when Bitcoin was sitting around 61,700 to 63,000. Now all of a sudden you're sitting at BTC 66.7 ish, and you're at 204. You're at 66.2 here. It's kind of remarkable. You got some pain over there at Coin of the Base. It's a little surprising. Then you've got Super Microcomputer trying to trade a little sideways. You got Faraday's red candling a little bit. It looks like possibly what's happening is people are starting to diversify away from Faraday into some of the others, like that CRN, I think it was this morning, and maybe some Green Wave. Looks like you've got Green Wave candle sticking here. You've got Trade Desk. That's to the upside on Green Wave. Wow. Whereas Faraday's got the down wave going. You've got NVIDIA trying to turn green, and the Qs, giving up a little bit, trying to turn red. That'll be the first red in a while. You don't want that. That's interesting. Okay, so what's dragging us down here? It's Apple at 7 basis points to the upside, so it's not that. If I jump over to Microsoft, I got 28 bips over on the micro of the soft. Then if I go to Googs, get on over to the Googs, only 13. Okay, what about Meta? 13 basis points there. Meta down 78. Yeah, Meta's got a little bit of the softness, huh? Okay, so there it is. Okay. Oh, is anybody following this story? What is this? I don't know why this notification came up. Rebecca Joins, found guilty of having sex with pupils. Teacher 30 years old. 4 counts of sexual activity with a child and 2 counts of sexual activity with a child by a person in position of trust. Following a 2-week trial. Manchester Crown Court. Oh, burn. Okay. I'm not sure why that notification came through. I thought I only had the finance notifications on. But anyway, Tesla down, still 93 bips there. But, this 174 line has been so in play for Tesla. It's just all the time. It's 174, 174, 174. It's crazy. Microsoft coming down, or sorry, Meta coming down 81 basis points here. Bitcoin, we got a bit of a red candle on the BTCs. Back to 1% down on Tesla. Robin the Hood can't keep on to the 4 or 5% it was doing there. Crown Electric's got its solid move there. AMC, GME continues its bleed. It's unfortunate for GMizzle. Supermicro can't keep it up, pretty flat right now. So Nvidia goes red. Trade Desk trying to hold on. Ooh, basically the Qs here turning red. What's going on with yields? Is there a reason we've got some red going on over here? Red on, you got bond yields up about 2.7 basis points. No big deal there. Holding on to 1 bip. Looks like Enphase is trying to go for that 114 bounce again. Excuse me. And then you've got Amazon. Nice little movement there. 20 basis points. It's a pretty relaxed day, honestly, over here. HKD. Look, I still have that little call option sitting here. These are we bought these in the money Friday calls. Well, now they're in the money. They were out of the money when we first bought them. We sent out an alert in the Stocks and Psych group at 11 cents on these. It's crazy. They're obviously, I look at them at now $2.22, and I'm like, oh wow, I wish I held them that long. But I know there's some people who have, and that's the whole point about trade ideas. It's like to bring your attention to a particular stock that might be moving in a certain direction. Obviously, no guarantees. I'd always mention, hey, I'm just going to do my best to send you alerts on trends I'm seeing, and it's up to you how you trade. But that was one of them we played and sent out, and it paid for it paid for more than this. It made more money than the iPad on it. But I said if they went in the money, I would buy the new iPad. I didn't even need the new iPad. I thought it was so unlikely that I thought that was the joke was like, there's no way. So I'll bet the iPad on it because I don't even need the new iPad. And it happened. And now the new iPad is actually right here. It's already installed. I promised I would. So that was it's kind of remarkable. Okay, so what else? Sunrun, a little bit of bleed. Plug Power, a little bit of bleed. Some of your traditional names are really doing some good old bleedy deedies here. Let's go with, let me look at the highest short we had on Monday. I wrote these all down on Monday. Sun Power, oops, I spelled that wrong. SPWR. Sun Power, they're down another 4. You can see the momentum movement on this one. Look at that. You really only had like a day of a run there, 1 to 2 days of a run on Sun Power. Beyond Meat was another one that briefly got a little bit of a run. EVgo got a bit of a run. EVgo, you can see it's still up a chunk there from where it was. Plug-a-doozles. Also up a chunk, but starting its bleed. Sunrun didn't really move much. SPCE. Virgin Galactic got a day of a spike there. How about Laser? Laser for LiDAR. Also had a little spike, also saw rolling down. Save for Spirit Airlines, rolling over. How about Clover? Clover. Wow, Clover had a nice 30-cent move. That's about 50% right there. How about Fubu? Fubu TV? Not really. Not really. How about Carvana? Carvana, I hate this company. You were in no man's land over here, but it's still holding on. Boy, I'll reserve my opinion. Tupperware, look at Tupperware. Here's an example of going from 96 cents all the way for a moment up to $2.55, down to $1.60 right now. Rivian, Riv. We are sitting at 1.43% on the Rivadoos. Then we are looking at El Cid, baby, El Cid. El Cid also started its bleed out. Lucid at 270. SoFi, they didn't really get to participate in the meme rally too much. I should call it the momentum rally. I know people get pissed when I say that, but whatever. People got to get their emotions in check. You understand? Then we got, that's almost 23% there on the GMizzles. AMC, and again, that's on them raising some, wanting to sell about 45 million shares and some preliminary results on their financials before they were able to do that. Bummer they had to do that. Microvision coming also down. Let's go to the day chart on the Microvision. Yeah, no, you had earnings and it was basically down after that. Hood. Oh, look at it. That's the day chart right over there on that 1794 line. And on the day, we're trying to pull back down actually to that. Monday.com, they were down as much as 1% this morning. And oopsies. There we go. Monday.com, yep, still exactly 1% down. Wow. Wow. All right, what else we got going on? So we've gone through some of these names. We got Enphase down 1%. It's really the movers and shakers this morning are, where's Faraday Futures? Anyway, Greenwave Technologies. What I'm hearing, what a lot of people are doing, and like this is all. None of this is personalized financial advice. There's massive risk in these, especially keep in mind this is like playing penny stocks. You know, massive risk. But what I'm hearing people do is they're basically like splitting. They're putting little eggs into multiple different baskets. And then of course you have some folks who are like, no, it's all one. This is the one. And it's fine. I just want to see people make money. It doesn't matter to me what you do, but I do see people say that. So people are going in, they're buying shares of like, you know, Faraday Futures, maybe Crown Electric, maybe Greenwave Technologies. I have no idea what exactly people are doing, but it's something that I've heard some folks mention, and they feel like they're sort of diversifying that way. So could you imagine if you had like an ETF and it was just momentum penny stocks? That'd be crazy. And then you could like tax trade between them. Wild. Anyway, so Trade Desk up about 1%. Palantir's up 65. I feel like that 65 basis points. I feel like this is the first day we've actually seen some like enjoyment over here on Palantir Technologies. Anyway, you know, Faraday Futures, it looks like we're halted at the moment. Look at that, as you're at $2.95, trying to get some market balance there. Not uncommon for these to turn red after a halt, just because you do get some more sell orders and some balance that comes in. That doesn't mean the rally's over, though. The rally could just be beginning. This is the one that we sent out an alert on in the course member live stream when it was 27 cents. It's now $2.70, $2.90, excuse me. Wow, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it's pretty remarkable. The trading has been quite fun, very nice. It is very nice. So, then we've got, let's see here, Monday.com down 1%. Big deal. They've done very, very well here recently. AMC down 4. GME bleeds down 25%. A doozles. Yikes. Tesla. Oh, look at that. The 174 line back in play. Back in play again. You run all the way up to 174. Boom. Rejected. Right in the face. Boom. Crown Electric looks like you're rotating down a little bit there. Greenwave, 47% up. You've got Supermicro trying to move up here about 1.4. Nvidia, 23 bips. Ooh, the NASDAQ 100 has officially
lost the lead.
Down 0.2. Enphase, bounces off the 114 line again. Nice little violent bounce there. Apple trying to go to the moon here. Apple and Amazon really trying to run. It's so hard to bet against the big boys right now. It's very, very difficult to. You know, it's you're almost just better off. Well, not from an advice point of view. Oh, Reddit's at 1337. That's funny. It just seems like one of the easy sort of, just buy it and hold it. AMD is actually up 2.5%, and Dell's up another 2%. Yeah, AMD had a little run there, 2.7. Nice. Okay, so what else? Let's go take a peek at. Oh, let's see. Does Nick T have anything delicious for us? Nick T. Penny stocks are outperforming everything. Yeah, you've got. It's like penny stock week, you know, and I mean, like, risk, like, even if you try to risk adjust, it just feels like, gosh, the returns have just been crazy on the pennies. But there are a lot of people who will look at pennies and they'll say, look, I mean, I'll throw $100 in for the lulls, but, you know, am I going to put a serious position in on penny stocks with no foundation? No, you know, that's a very common belief, and it totally makes sense. And then there are others who are like, nah, you know what? I look, you know, I saw somebody, and this is when you're just like rock bottom and it's extreme risk. I saw a comment yesterday where somebody's like, oh, I'm unemployed. I'm down to like my last $5,000. I'm yeeting it onto the penny stocks because I need to be able to pay my bills, and I need to pull a double here or a triple. And you know, while I don't think that's you know, a sustainable strategy, I will say I hope it happens for them, because you know, I feel bad for people who get laid off, and you know, then I mean, the level of uncertainty in your life just skyrockets, and it creates a lot of stress. And ugh. Anyway, Nick T hasn't tweeted in about 2 days, so I feel like CPI happened, and he just took off. OpenAI has struck a deal with Reddit to train its AI using your posts. That is going to be one salty AI. Boy, oh boy. Yeah. Okay. No financial terms were disclosed, but there's a blog post announcing the relationship. OpenAI will bring Reddit content to GPT. Oh no. Reddit's data API, which will provide real-time structured and unique content from Reddit. Very interesting. So that is a little bit of an announcement that was posted later yesterday, and probably after the market closed there. Not uncommon to get your announcements after the market closes, and now you're seeing that start to get priced in, along with really the momentum rally. The more you get these momentum rallies, the more Reddit actually gets viewership up. You know, Reddit goes up, Robinhood usage goes up during times of this sort of momentum. So Reddit OpenAI. Reddit up about 13%, in part due to its newly announced partnership to bring real-time Reddit data to ChatGPT. Wow. Boom. Boom, baby, boom. Okie dokie, hunky dory. How are we doing here? So, we are looking at, to the downside, GameStop 26% keeps its bleed going. Costs keeps going. Faraday Future 65%. Greenwave Technology, it's up about 64%. Crown Electric gave up a little bit there of some of that movement we had seen, and now you're about 72. Looks like right here you're at Dell Technologies. Look at that, 228 on Dell. I can't even with Dell. It just it drives me nuts. It's so tiny AI. It's like 2% of the company is AI. It's a fugazi. But I know, the second I mentioned Dell, look who spawns in. It's Commodities Steve with the pickaxe logo. You know, I never noticed it was a pickaxe until Jack. He's like, hey, Kevin, well, he doesn't say Kevin. He's like, hey, Dad, what's that guy's name who really likes gold? And then, what was it? I think I was like half listening or something, because that should have been obvious. But I think I'm like, what, Peter Schiff? And he's like, no, the guy in your YouTube chat with the pickaxe. And I'm like, I didn't know that he had a pickaxe icon, but it made sense after Jack said it. I'm like, that's Steve. Dell. I will say I'm still holding on to this in my portfolio-liolies. Here I'll put a little screenshot of it up. Where is it? So screenshot, and I'll just put that on my iPad really quickly. Kevin's iPad. And then I want to cover a little bit more news. And then what happened to my audio? Oh, I hear screaming child. Can anybody else hear the screaming child? I hope not. Sorry if you can. So one of the greats here. Hold on. Where? Did I get my audio back? There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay, good. I'm glad you can't hear screaming child. So on the Webull positions, whatever, it doesn't matter. Here you go. Look at this. The Webull positions here. I've left that one there solely because of Steve. I put $1,000 into uranium, URNM, solely because he wouldn't shut up about it. And I'm like, will you stop if I just buy some? So I did. We put $1,000 into it. And I have to say, 43% for a rock. That's pretty impressive. So I gotta give him credit where credit is due. Another one that you gotta give him credit for. Go to stocks.google.com. Oh, they got rid of that. What is it? Finance.google.com. Oh, it's finance.google.com. Okay, got it. Another one you got to give them credit for, and this one's gonna piss people off. Okay, I'm sorry, it's just gonna piss people off, but it's just to give credit to Steve. Okay, so here it is. This is a stock chart comparison of Dell versus Tesla. So today you could see Tesla's down 1.64 ish, and Dell is up basically the same thing. What Tesla's down today, Dell is up. And then if I go to the 5-day, Dell is up 10%, Tesla's up 2%. If I go to the 1 month, Dell is up 24%, Tesla's up 11%. If I go to the 6 month, Tesla's down 25%, Dell has a double. Oops. Then if I go out to the year to date, Tesla's down 30%, Dell's basically a double. I go to the 1 year, Dell's at 223 and Tesla's a down 0.14. If I go to the 5 year, that's when Tesla finally starts winning again. 5 year, 1100 on Tesla and 322, but not the last 3 years. If I could zoom that in the last 3 years, it's just been Dell on a win there. So again, I know that's gonna piss some people off, but oh well, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I know, that's the thing, is like when people say that, it's like, and if you're like, I should have invested in Dell instead of Tesla. Oh, trust me, there's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda. Sounds like a trimming armor scam. Let's go. I'll trim your armor for free. Just drop it all to me. Dropping loot. You also just trade. Boy. Okay, so the problem with dropping loot in RuneScape is it doesn't appear right away. But so usually what people do is when they scam you, they rob your password. They log in, drop it all, and then they have like a minute to go log into their other character and pick it up because they know what square, what tile it's going to appear in. Okay. Who would have guessed Dell would have outperformed in the exactly in the years leading up to AI and FSD? Yep, I know. 2% AI over at Dell. Double. Balls to the wall on AI with self-driving cars saving people's lives. Down 30%. It's all right. It's just the way the market is. Mr. Market and his emotion. Look at that, Robin the Hood's taking off. Up 7.4%. Had a little bit of a rotation down there after that B of A upgrade. I think it was B of A, or was it Deutsche Bank? I can't really remember anymore. Does anybody really care which bank it is? I don't know. Maybe some people do. But let's see. Do we have any catalysts? I'm getting just bored. I need caddies. Where are the caddies, boys and girls? I need the catalysts. Where are they? No, just nothing. Next catalyst is Philadelphia Fed non-manufacturing activity. That's like the most boring title I've ever heard in my life on Monday. No, that's Tuesday, actually. Then on, it looks like a Wednesday. Wow, boring. No caddies until Wednesday. We have the Fed's minutes. Wow, the minutes. Oh my gosh. Then you've got Thursday, initial jobless claims again. We just had those yesterday. And then next Friday, you've got University of Michigan. What a boring week next week's going to be. Like, the only showstopper next week is just going to be NVIDIA. That's it. It's NVIDIA. That's it. That's all it is. All it is. Yeah, so, okay. All right. What are you going to do? I don't know what you're going to do. Let's see here. Will asset price inflation lead to sustained inflation? Not necessarily. It contributes, but will it lead to sustain? I don't think so. I still maintain my mindset that interest rates will be lower than they ever have been before. Within the next decade, relatively convinced of that. But we shall see. So, all right, what do we got over here? Let's listen in.
Executives, Bill Nudies.
Mac just wrote, Kevin, I YOLO'd into GWAV yesterday like a degenerate, and I just wanted to say thank you. Let's go! Hey, man, it's up 69%. That's awesome, man. That's just today. It's just crazy. Are you covering U.S. leading economic indicators? I mean, we pay attention, but thanks for GWAV. Nice. Congratulations. Like to see when folks are up. Would NVIDIA pump next week, pump other stocks such as Meta and Tesla? I don't think so. You know, I think NVIDIA is more likely to pump SMCI or Dell or some of your, AI plays, even like a Taiwan Semi. I think that's much more likely than a move on Meta and Tesla, because those are your AI spenders. They invest in the AI infrastructure. They invest in the chips. Yeah, they're the customers, right? So I don't know that until you can really show that all that spending is turning into revenue. Yeah. I don't see that as much of a correlation. I mean, it's impossible you could pump the entire market, but honestly, I think there's a greater chance that NVIDIA just dumps after earnings. And then after that, you end up with, a buying opportunity. It's interesting. I was wondering if revenue was French. It is Old French, based in Latin. Revenue. Late Middle English from Old French. Revenue. Returned. Past participle. Revenir from Latin. Huh. Interesting. Which stands for return. Who knew? Who knew? I didn't. I mean, I guess I could have guessed just in the way it sounds, but whatever. Wow, people making bags with GWAV. No, people making bank. We don't want bags. We want bank. Battery storage is likely a big derivative of AI data center growth. Yeah, one of the guys was researching battery storage and solar and as a beneficiary of the AI data centers. And I get the argument, but I have a counter argument for you. And this was just sort of, I'm not trying to be like contrarian or counter. It was just something I thought of is it not possible that you could actually get more, what's it called? You could get more efficient chips over time that actually exceed the energy increase of more demand. So like, think about that for a moment. So let's say AI usage goes up 8x, but the chips become 10x more efficient. You actually have a net negative in energy usage. There's no guarantees, you know, and I'm not trying to poo-poo-doo-poo the idea here. Just saying it's something that I see as interesting. Yeah, certainly very interesting. So anyway, okay, what else? So I think then we have, let's see here. Let's go to here. Anybody tell you look like Joe Flacco? I don't know who that is, but that sounds funny to me. That's cool. So, okay, let's take a peek here. Then we've got GameStop. You know, the bleed on GameStop is somewhat unfortunate there. 25% down. Microvision, 5% down. Rivian moving a little bit over here. You've got, what is this? Beyond Meat's down. No, Beyond Meat's actually up. Tesla, 74 bips. Getting a little rejected over there at the line. Let's listen in over here for a moment. We have any 7 o'clock news here?
Was a beat. The company says it plans to release the latest version of flagship game Grand Theft Auto in the fall of next year. And by the way, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick joins us on Money Movers next hour.
Ooh.
And take a look at shares of cannabis stocks, volatile after the DOJ unveiled a proposal to ease restrictions on marijuana by reclassifying the drug. We'll talk next steps with the CEO and founder of one multinational chain, Curaleaf, later this hour.
All right, leading economic index data just out moments ago. Rick Santelli has that for us. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Mike. Indeed, April read on leading economic indicators. Coming into this number, 25 of the last 26 months have been negative. Now make that 26 out of the last 27. Minus 0.6%, the weakest or the biggest negative month-over-month change since October of last year. And just to put some perspective on this, we've had 2 positive numbers, February of this year and then February of 22. In between and after this past February, all negative. Now, granted, LEI has historically some long streaks of trending negative or positive, but this one's a biggie. Now, if we look at interest rates, right now we're hovering right at below 440 and a 10. That would make us up 2 basis points on the day, but maybe more importantly, down 10 on the week. 2 years are down 8 on the week. And one of the forces, of course, in the equity markets has been the perspective of the Fed still may have an ease, and the markets, well, interest rates are not near 5% in 10s anymore. Carl, back to you.
All right, Rick, thank you so much, Rick Santelli. Milestone week for the market, as you know by now. The Dow did hit 40K for the first time, alongside multiple fresh intraday highs for the S&P and NASDAQ. When it comes to the week ahead, we're going to get a lot of retail earnings. Macy's, Target, TJX, of course, NVIDIA will be front and center. That's on top of a very crowded Fed speak calendar, even into the weekend. Mike, great chart out of Barclays today, looking at sort of catalysts that drive forward volatility, and NVIDIA is right at the top.
Yep, NVIDIA and the inflation numbers are the ones in terms of the known catalysts for the market that get priced for some significant movement. So that's, you know, we got a few trading days until then. At the moment, the market is kind of obviously digesting the round numbers, 5,300 in the S&P, maybe 40,000 on the Dow. And I think the whole story the last couple of months has been, you know, extreme belief in the perfect soft landing scenario and the AI boom, giving way to a little bit of doubt as to whether we could absorb this move higher in rates, and questioning whether we can stay on this very comfortable mid-cycle mode or late expansion type mode. And then we get a series of data that suggests we can. And, you know, Rick mentioned that being near 5% on the 10-year Treasury yield, that does seem to be a tripwire historically in terms of when yields really start to work against stocks. Now we're well clear of that. I have noted, though, kind of a defensive thread of leadership in the last couple of weeks. It's sort of registering that maybe the consumer momentum is waning a little bit. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It kind of gets reflected in the numbers as almost sort of a broadening out or sort of a more inclusive type market. But you have to be mindful of the fact that, you know, we've rebuilt the valuations. corrections, and we're going to start to look overbought. We never got some kind of real big kind of comprehensive flush at the lows.
You really wanted a bigger dip.
It's not about wanting it. To me, it's about the trade-off. If you forego the real purge near the lows, it means people didn't really bring down exposures that much. So when the market comes back, they don't have to chase it as much because they're in. And so it's kind of like, do you trade the smaller pullback for the less aggressive, follow-through rally that we might be in for? But we'll see. I mean, it's a bull market. It usually kind of finds its way higher, even if it looks expensive.
It's kind of like you have to eat your vegetables before you get dessert.
There's a certain Calvinism toward, you have to suffer a little bit for the gains. I mean, historically, actually, bull markets give you more than they take from you. So, it's not always symmetrical like that.
You get a little more ice cream than I think you usually bargain for.
Exactly.
But to your point, I mean, utilities has been on such a run. It's the third best performing sector year to date.
Although,
after communication services and info
is
tech.
it still defensive is the debate, right?
Right.
So here's the way I would view it. At the highs in March, everyone was saying the momentum trade was so overheated, meaning that the best stocks of the prior 3 months had massive outperformance. That is unwound. What happens mechanically when that unwinds? People sell the high momentum stocks and they buy the really left behind, anti-momentum, washed out stuff. Nothing qualified for that better than utilities. 12 months of outflows, everything else. So yes, it's defensive, and then as it's had this aggressive rally off those lows, people decided it's a quasi-AI play, and maybe long-term it can kind of participate there. But for me, it's mean reversion before it's anything else.
Yeah, well, even energy, Goldman had that stat in a note yesterday saying that of the S&P 500 earnings calls, 70% of executives mentioned AI this quarter, and that is up from 19% last year. So
Going to 100.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over time. As we talk more about the breadth of the overall rally this week, let's get to Dom Chu. Look at some under-the-radar names that have powered the market higher, Dom.
All right, so to your point in the conversation just now about some of the kind of well-covered names, the ones that we often talk about, like NVIDIA because of earnings coming up, there have been other names in the S&P 500 as well. And on a year-to-date basis, it's been a generally very good year, up 11%. And then just about over the last month, since the lows that we saw in the middle of April, we've had a pretty decent rally off of some of those kind of pulled.
Yeah. We know we've had a decent rally. Ellis, congratulations. Ellis here saying, let's rucking go. Thanks, Kevin. Hit a double on that trade. Let's go, dude. Let's go. Freaking love that. I'm so happy for everybody. Like the thing that makes me the happiest is if I can post it like if I post a trade and somebody can make money on it, it's like I don't have to make money on every trade. I want to see other people make money too. But I wish I could guarantee it. Like I wish I could. I can't. It's just we try to take ideas and try to make money. But it's also the point of these live streams, right? Like my goal is how can we try to provide value here every day, give you economic perspective, answer questions, whatever I can do. So, for example, here, Far Real, you've been here for at least, you've been a supporter for at least, 2 weeks, right? I'm just kidding. I know you've been here for a long time. Thank you for that. Okay, if you believe rates go lower than ever this decade, I should have clarified within a decade. So I think by 2033 is what my calendar says. So the calendar says that. It's not me. It's a calendar. It is actually me. Okay. You're making the case that we get negative rates. Not necessarily. I think you're right. You're right. I should have clarified. I mean mortgage rates because you're thinking Fed funds rate was 0, so the case for negative. I guess maybe. Yeah. I was thinking more 30-year mortgage like under 2%. I think that's going to happen. It's going to make the rich richer, and it's not actually going to help affordability for most normal folks. And yeah, I suppose you could have potentially like a negative 0.25 to 0 target on the Fed funds rate. Sure, possibly. How does that play out in the world of populism? Fiscal dominance and deglobalization. Well, unfortunately, populism can lead to very bad economic policies that create substantial boom and bust cycles. Populism is frankly, a great example of that is it's popular to send stimulus checks. Vote for Gavin Newsom. He'll send you another stimulus check, right? And then, of course, fiscal dominance, okay, basically, the level of government spending and dominating in GDP. at some point it's going to create a substantial correction and crash, and you'll have collapses of currencies and severe debt-based recessions or depressions. As far as the idea of deglobalization, I think deglobalization's a myth. I think companies will always look for the cheapest place they can work, and they will gladly support building out infrastructure and partnering with countries on having the cheapest means of production. So I think deglobalization is mostly a myth. I think you'll actually see a decade of reglobalization, and at some point you'll have a pretty nasty debt-based crash, whether that's consumer debt, fiscal debt, a combination of it, whatever. And as a result of that, in order to motivate spending at all again, you'll have to have rates that are basically lower than they've ever been before. No, sorry. I mean, that's a longer answer there. I think it's, yeah, sorry. No, I can't blame Jack on that one. I was just stupid. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, no, it's hard to multitask. Sometimes I have finger and I screw stuff up. So bifurcation of supply chains. Finally, you're saying it went down huge. Sold my position because my strategy doesn't allow you to double down any more of the portfolio. After my sell, it doubled. It wasn't a bad position. How to best fear it? I have no idea what you're saying, John. I'm sorry. ARM is going down 3%. Okay, let's look at that. So housing rates go down, but housing costs go up. Well, yeah, because short of a real estate crash, housing valuations, well, in the near term, I think can go down as inventory rises. But in the longer term, I think housing is a really good bet. You know, one of the reasons I created HouseHack, and I know people think it's crazy, but one of the reasons I created HouseHack is because I honestly don't think that most people are going to be able to buy a house anymore. I think the people who not because of corporate landlords are like 1% of your single family buyers, for example, but actually just because of, you know, rich mom and pops who are buying, you know, instead of like 1 or 2 rentals, they're buying like 5 to 10 rentals. And then a lot of people are doing that. So I think that housing will become so unaffordable. The only way you'll actually be able to get exposure to real estate is basically by buying a stock or a slice of the property that you live in. So like at HouseHack, what we're trying to do is make it so that tenants that are renting from us can buy equity in the properties that they're renting, but in a diversified way. So they're not only getting that property, but they're getting a slice of that along with a slice of other things. It's sad, but it's better than not having any real estate exposure, in my opinion. Obviously, not personalized advice. Okay, somebody says ARM is going down. Let's see what's going on with ARM. Armadues down 2.74 here, and Q's down 9 basis points. You had a crazy run over here at GWAV. You're still up 67% on the day here. You went almost to 30 cents there. You've got Faraday futures up 65. Robinhood. From a fundamental basis, I like Robinhood, you know, but I don't know. I just haven't gotten to pull the trigger on this sucker yet. Maybe I should pick it up at that 1794 line again. Okay, I said I was going to go to ARM. Oh yeah, ARM did rotate down a bit, didn't it? Yeah, 111 over here. Tesla trying to recover. Is that true? Is it going to go back to the 174? Does that mean it's time to buy calls? Oh, no. It's at the 174. I don't know. Can you push a breakout today? I don't know about that. HouseHack. Yes. AMC popping. GME will follow. Yeah, I saw that. AMC was up, what, 7% right now? No, 4. Oh, look at that run. That's a nice run there. Coming right out of the hole. 4% there. And then where is GME, G-Mizzle? I'll never, fitness tech, I'll never discourage people from buying their own home. I just think it's darn near impossible right now to buy your own home at 7% interest rates, so you're screwed, A. And B, yes, housing inventory increasing over the year will make it more desirable to buy single-family real estate again later this year, probably Q3, Q4. But you will also, I don't think you'll see enough of a price correction to the downside, if any at all. You probably have sideways trading to actually really make it even more affordable for folks. It's a toughie. It's a toughie. So Tesla, yeah, Tesla's only down 27 bips right now. Wow, Christian, you've been here for a while. Yeah, you've been here for years, man. Thank you for the support. Kevin, I listened to you and bought real estate. First thing I did when I was 20 years old, and now we have $600,000 in equity. Freaking amazing. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you. That's like, hell yeah. That is so good for you. Good for you. That is so cool. Kev, the only way that plays out is if deflationary forces of AI tech provide a huge boost in productivity to offset the inflationary forces. Still seems odds favor stickier inflation this decade. Well, maybe that's why I picked 2033. I need a full decade, not this decade. Kevin, thoughts on the thesis? On the longer run, population will decline, which means there will be too much supply of housing, and the price will collapse. No. I get the thesis, but let me help you with fixing this. So, generally what happens is over time, you are right, certain areas of real estate will collapse. These are generally your high-risk, small towns that will lose their manufacturing jobs and their single employer sources. Those are towns that will see real estate prices collapse. However, real estate in the most popular area where jobs are will have a very hard time of collapsing. In fact, I actually think it's much more likely that people from frankly, parts of like the Midwest or parts of even like Georgia or whatever. Some of these parts, what will happen is people actually move from some of these parts, and not like a Brookhaven. Brookhaven's like amazing. People love it there. But anyway, people will move from some of these parts and they'll consolidate into like the hubs. The Atlanta, the Los Angeles, I hate LA, the San Diego, the Miamis, unless Miami's underwater, but that's a different topic. So you'll actually get population concentration around jobs, which actually drives values up in population centers and down in not population centers. So yes, population decline will crush the not population centers, but it actually will drive people more to where the jobs are and likely increase prices there. So you'll see this. Yeah. I live in Aventura. I used to live in Aventura myself. The Aventura Mall is one of the most beautiful malls in America. It is, I give a lot of credit to the Jewish population over there. Huge Jewish population in South Florida, especially Aventura. And it's really nice over there. It's really nice. If I could live in Aventura, I'd prefer Aventura over Ventura, with the exception of the weather. I do like the weather we have in Ventura. What do you think about flipping foreclosed homes? Flipping's a little tough in this market. I wouldn't buy a flip right now going into the winter, but yeah, I love foreclosed homes. Any updates on house hack? It's going very well. I love it. Tesla's about to turn green. They're trying to break out over the 174 right now. Live in Dania Beach. Damn, that's coming from a German. People always think just because where you're born, it somehow means you can't like people. So businesses will bring the jobs to pro-business states. It's not only pro-business states, it's also where people want to live, right? So there's a little bit of a chicken or egg problem there. If people want to live in, let's say, one of the most beautiful places in the country, which is like Irvine or Newport, California, the jobs will actually go there. And so it's like people want to live there, so the jobs go there, and then more people come there because it's nice and the jobs are there. So it's a little bit of a chicken or egg problem. It's not so easy to say that, oh, the pro-business states are going to be the sole victors. It doesn't only work that way. I'm not saying that won't help certain businesses move through those areas. Texas or others. Oh, did Nick T tweet? Dude, is 2-day vacations over? No way. Good catch. All right, I need to go make some more coffee. Oh, you're right. He did tweet. What is this? And then I have to give you a little heads up on what Tesla's doing with the whole voting thing, a concern that I have. Nick T says there's nothing price can't fix. The national average for apartment occupancy ticked up month over month for the first time. Meanwhile, several markets underperformed. Yeah, well, because rents are coming down. Okay, so I wanted to just say this about Tesla. People get mad at me all the time for this stuff. Oh, here's my Faraday Futures iPad picture. We went to the Cheesecake Factory. You know, I've been going to that Cheesecake Factory for like 16 years. Crazy. And if you're ever watching stocks go up, you have to listen to Pump It Up. It's like, that's my favorite. I was blasting that in the office the other day. We have a bunch of these little like Bose speakers, and you could just AirPlay it to all of them, and it's so good. It's the best. So for example, like, the way to play it is you go over here, you go to like Tesla, and then
don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up.
I love it. Anyway, what was I gonna say about people getting mad at me? So one of the things people got mad at me for on Tesla was, I was complaining about Tesla running paid advertisements for the shareholder vote. That was one of the things I complained about. And this McKay, not from The Office, a different McKay, so Tesla's now running paid advertisements in Google search, encouraging Tesla shareholders to vote. And then I go ... and then somebody replies, hey, they discovered advertising. Like, that's not the advertising we meant. They should be advertising the 0.99, interest rate that they're doing right now. And the other thing that I got in trouble for from the Tesla community was this. The SEC is throwing pro-Tesla accounts in their SEC filings for teaching people basically how to vote. And so my concern with this is it's a brilliant strategy or manipulation by Tesla to convince users to pitch how to vote. Basically what I'm saying is, like, if somebody sees, if I say nice things about Tesla, I might get in an SEC filing, it encourages more nice things being said about Tesla, right? And so Alexandra wrote, why manipulation? I go, there's a non-zero chance this ends up being viewed as vote steering. Supporters get their face in SEC filings. Naysayers don't. I mean, I get it, right? Like, obviously. I'm just saying, like, I think the odds are very small, but it's non-zero. So non-zero could mean, like, 1-2% or whatever. I don't think it's a high risk, but there's a chance someone at some 3-letter organization sues to invalidate the election result due to this, aka vote rigging allegations, Did you listen to the video? What words could possibly be vote steering? And then I say, I'm not saying you are vote steering. I'm saying Tesla is playing with fire. Consider the SEC rules. All material information must be presented in an unbiased and comprehensive manner. This includes the avoidance of both the omission of material facts and the presentation of information in a way that could mislead investors. But if you're only promoting pro-Tesla accounts in your SEC filings, and therefore trying to steer the conversation for people to be pro-Tesla so they can also get their face in SEC filings, then you're creating some risk, is basically what I'm saying. It's a risky move. Tesla could easily, and so what I wrote is, Tesla could easily just rewrite the instructions without that pro-Tesla bias, basically. Rewrite the instructions and put that into their SEC filings. But instead of rewriting the instructions, which would be very easy, they're rewarding pro-Tesla accounts. And this is happening during a shareholder election where the SEC requires like a high level of unbiasedness. And so that's that's my POV. But those were a couple things that people got mad at me about. Whatever. You can get mad at me. Nobody knows getting mad at Kevin like the internet. It's fine. But that's just my idea. One of my tenants here in Tampa wants to pay for and install a 220-volt Tesla charger in the garage of the house I'm renting to him, but I'm not sure if I should say yes. You should say yes if it's done by a qualified electrician. I'm sorry, by a licensed electrician. So I would say, hey, by all means, go for it as long as it's done by a licensed electrician and there's room in the panel for it. But it should be done by a licensed electrician. You don't want your, the house burning down and then you need a copy of the invoice, and then your insurance company try to claim out on that, So, Kevin, come to Berlin. We will build you a statue. Stop. Yeah, I actually want to take my kids to Europe. I saw you when you punched Grant Cardone during Christmas. I never punched Grant Cardone, but that's funny. Did you meet me in Aventura out there then? Kevin sounds like he's on South Park. Don O. Kevin is losing his humbleness. Here's a Tesla bull. What did I say that was unhumble? Let's see here. Meet Kevin Bobblehead. Stop. Okay. All right. Elon's been commenting on this, which makes me happy. There's concern this may not happen. What? I think you mean the vote. Kevin, I'm in the market for a new house, 20% down, but can't wrap my head around paying 7.45% on a 650K house. Should I pull the trigger now? Okay, so not personal financial advice. And I've been saying this to everyone, my belief is there will be better deals in Q3, Q4. Rum, fish, and vino. Yeah, that's in downtown Ventura. I've been there. And did I vote yet? I wasn't able to vote. I missed, there was like a date I missed. It was like April 15th. That was right in the middle of my, actually, it was already done tax loss harvesting at that point. But yeah, I can't. I didn't get the chance to. So anyway, look at that. Look at that. It's going up to the 175 line. It does this a lot. It'll break out at 174. Very, very, very common to short at 175.64. But let's see. Sometimes you'll actually get a breakout, and then it'll pull back. Greenway, Faraday, Qs. Oh, Mondays recovered a lot of its loss. I really need to go to the course member live stream and make another coffee. As you can tell, I'm clearly running on fumes over here. Does anybody have that like psychological problem where when somebody slurps coffee or like a hot drink next to you, it just drives you nuts? Like the loud slurpers, they come in the room. Like I'm not actually doing it for those people who are offended by it. But it's just like, it's like a knife. Some people it doesn't bother. Like Lauren, it doesn't bother at all. It bothers me. Like, I don't know. I'm just like, bro, don't do that. Like, I have to leave. You get more flavor. When you no. I get it. And don't get me wrong. Like, I do too. Especially if it's really hot. You have to. Because you kind of like aerate as you're, sucking in. You're aerating. So the air is like cooling down the drink a little bit. But, so I get the purpose. I just try not to do it around other people. Or I'll actually ask people. I'll say like, hey, are you bothered by slurping? Say no, then I will. But if they are, then I'm like, yeah, okay, no worries. I'll just wait for it to cool down. So like, it's just a weird thing to think about. Like, sort of like out of a respect POV. It's a funny thing I've thought of. Like, what I have to ask if people are offended by slurping. Anyway, Palantir's up 1.5. Look at that. You actually got a little bit of a run on Palantir. Anyway. All right, I think I gotta go. Maybe we can. What are we gonna look at? I don't know. Think up some stocks we should look at in the course Stocks and Psych group. If you're not part of the Stocks and Psych group yet, I encourage you to be part of the Stocks and Psychology of Money group. Price does go up over time. By the end of the year, I expect prices will be a lot higher, and so people were buying it for a lot less. Many years ago when it was on pre-sale. And big fan of just continuing to add value and content to it. So over time, you're just getting that lifetime access. A lot of people are like, Gavin, you're crazy for not having a subscription model. I'm like, I know. But I do want to show off on one of the trade alerts. And look, I don't always make money, so I want to be clear. I've lost money before, but we're definitely up on the year, especially since I was just able to pick up 100 $127,000 of realized profit on GWAV. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, Kevin, but what about the taxes? It's like, oh, don't worry. Don't worry about the taxes. I want to make money. So we picked up $127,000 on that. That's crazy. Crazy day. So that's I'm pretty happy about that. Like, I know it could run more, but honestly, that's one of the risks is like, oh, it's gonna keep going, I'm like, bro, it's a penny stock, man. Anything can happen in this. Nobody knows what the heck's gonna happen. We saw a trend, we went in, we made some money, and we're gonna go out. It'll probably end up, like, watch, it'll run to $1. You know, maybe I need to re-enter it. I don't know. But picked up $127,000 today. You know, that pays for like 2 weeks of the plane. 2 weeks of the plane paid for, baby. It makes it feel bad. No, it's actually pretty good. And I didn't. What did I invest on it? I think my investment was $100,000. Let me see. What did I put in? Let's see here. Greenwave Technologies. I had 950,000 shares, and I think my basis was in the range of 13.5. 950,000 shares. 13.5, I think. Oh, about 128,000. Oh, it was a double. Let's go. I'll take it. I know people are like, Kevin, 950,000 shares. Why would you not go for the million shares? I know. I was thinking about that, but I didn't pull it off. So, oh, did Tesla run past? Let me see. Ooh, it's trying to break out of the 175. Juiced. All right, folks, I gotta go. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see y'all in the next one. All right. Somebody says, aren't your profits someone else's losses? No. It's not how it works, because when the stock goes from 13 cents to 26 cents, you're literally creating money out of thin air. So no, it's not. Like, you're creating money. You're not taking away from somebody else. It's kind of remarkable. Now, obviously, if somebody's holding it and it goes down to, 5 cents, that's where losses are created. That's when you're contracting money. Yeah, but it's pretty remarkable. Anyway, folks, I gotta go. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Oh, wait. We need the ending song. Here we go. That's not it. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage the ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. See y'all later, folks. Go to the course member live stream.